You're listening to Shoreditch Radio. ShoreditchRadio.co.uk.
Greetings and welcome to this action-packed, walking, talking, Bugbears Rock and Roll High School. I am Mr. Tony, the tumescent head of sixth form humour here at the sixth form. Rock and roll. The 3 R's: rock and roll and radiant guests.
Oh, thank you.
And normally I have to look at Mr. Wig, the football master. He's not here today. He has gone to, what did he say? He's gone to Krakow. He's gone to Krakow. And normally I'd just hold up a picture of Peter and the Test Tube Babies, the prime lineup from 1981, and that gets him going, and normally just sits there and does it anyway. But yeah, no Mr. Wiggs, the football master, he's off. So, what have we got for you this time around? 2 great guests, actually. Alison E. Wise.
Hello.
From Rock and Roll Camden Walking Tours.
Woo.
Yeah. And Michelle Brigandage from
Tony.
Sexy Hooligans Clothing and much, much more.
Thanks, Tony.
Yeah, we'll talk to them in a minute. So this show is all about bespoke rock and roll roving in sassy glam punk clothing. That's what I put earlier. So Ziggy Jones, let's have ya! Round and round. Round and round. David Bowie. Possibly the greatest Chuck Berry cover with a circuitous rock and roll theme whilst draped in outrageously fine schmutter ever made. You see, I'm making the connection there.
Thanks, Tony.
with the guests that I have. My 2 lovely guesties today, Alison, Rock and Roll Camden Walking Tours, and Michelle Brigandage from Sexy Hooligan Clothing. Sexy Hooligans, plural, clothing. And that's good, because the first rule of rock and roll is walk round your manor like you own it, whilst wearing nice clothes. Or wearing some clothes.
Preferably.
Yes.
Yeah. So I'm very much a thorn between 2 roses. Well, actually, to be honest, the roses are over. No, there's no webcam, so let's not do that. Okay. So yeah, I'm usually, as I said before, I'm usually looking at Wig. So no offence, Wiggins. Nice to see that you're enjoying yourself out in Poland. Covering England, because he's a proper journalist. So if the questions today are a little bit shit, that's because I'm not. So apologies for that. So okay, before we get into this proper, get into the meat and potatoes of this whole thing, I think we'll have a little bit more music to relax a little bit before we start talking fully. So I can stop talking. And we're going to start off with a new band. This is a band called Bromide. Actually, they're not new. They've been around a while. But Bromide, and this track's called View from Winter.
It's no use trying to talk about it, where you've got to go, when we're gonna follow you. I hope you don't know much about it. It hurts to see you so, nothing anyone can do. And it's bound up to the lands
there we go. Coffee and TV. Blur, the classic Coffee and TV from 1999, as chosen by Alison Wise here. And yeah, actually, I think that's probably the best track off of 13, isn't it? Would you say?
Actually, my favorite song off of 13 is On Your Own.
Okay.
But I chose that song because it's about Camden.
You chose that song. Let's get to that point because Alison Wise from Camden. Let me get the right order.
Rock and Roll Camden Walking Tour.
Oh, so I didn't get it right before. Rock and Roll Camden Rocking Tour.
Walking Tour.
I said, what? That made no sense at all.
Rock and Roll Camden Walking Tours.
Rockin' Walking Tours.
Exactly. It's
yeah.
rockin' and walking.
Rockin' Walking Finger Popping Tours. So,
Exactly.
yeah. Right, so anyway, let's go back first to the first track there before I bring you in properly, because I
All right.
need to mention the fact that we played View from Winter by Bromide, who you can see in the Dublin Castle, which is in Camden. You can walk to that. 27th of June, they're playing with the Epsiode and Statue Thieves. They've got an album out called Some Electric Sometime, and it's their third album, apparently, on Scratchy Records. Discover more at www.theinternet8mysoul, nice name, .co.uk. So, Alison E. Wise, before we get into anything else, why... Oh, you already said why, really. Did you say why about the Blur track? Was it?
Why I chose, because it's about Camden. It's about having a hangover in Camden.
Did you say that on air, or did we just talk about that between the...
I think we might have talked about it in
Apologies,
between.
listeners, yeah. Okay, so it's about having a hangover in Camden,
In
which
Camden.
is... And it's a Graham song, is it
Yeah,
not?
Graham wrote it.
Yeah, so there's obviously a lot
And
of...
he has the video where he's lost.
Oh, that's
and
right.
With the little milk
the
carton.
milk and all that.
Milk carton,
yeah.
So,
Good
yeah,
song.
I just thought since I was going to be on here and I'm talking about my tour, that I should choose a song that's about Camden. And
Yeah,
that's,
well-
and that's my favorite song about Camden.
This is Shoreditch Radio. You're from... Would you be from the US?
I am. I'm from California.
California, and well spotted me. So, what brought you to London, England, and Camden, and all that?
Britpop, basically.
Really?
Yeah.
And you're a bit of a Britpop DJ
I'm an
and stuff.
Anglophile.
You're an
It's the
Anglophile.
official
Good,
name.
good taste.
Yeah.
Good taste.
So,
yeah.
well, like, just growing up in California, I had neighbors. Next door neighbors were a British family.
Oh, really?
And I only just realized a couple of years ago, I was like, well, obviously that had an influence on me being an Anglophile.
Yeah, yeah. Did you get to watch Monty Python and Faulty Towers and stuff?
No.
No, nobody had videos in those days.
No, it was before VCRs and everything.
Okay.
But, like, the best music in the 80s was from the UK.
In the 80s, it
Yeah.
probably was, wasn't it?
Yeah, Adamant and Depeche Mode and Duran Duran and New Order and
Fair
then
enough.
the Smiths. And
Can I say The Fall, or you think they're rubbish?
I like the Fall, but like
okay.
I didn't know them. I didn't know them then.
Right. Fair enough.
And then in the 90s, I discovered Britpop, and that just
Yeah.
changed my life.
Well, it was a massive... I mean, like, you know, myself and Jim, who do Bugbear, you know, the Dublin Castle, obviously, that's where we plied our trade for many years. And we came in there at the height of Britpop, it must be said. Secret Blur gigs, loads of bands getting signed left, right and centre. Crazy time. So, yeah, it was a time when there was a lot of money floating around and a lot of wild behaviour and a lot of, you know, good bands. And it's kind of not quite like that anymore, unfortunately. But, hey, we carry on. So, when you're doing this walking tour, so, I mean, obviously, Camden, you've got The Clash, you've got Madness, you've got Blur. But
Amy.
Amy is a massive
One
factor.
of the big.
Yeah. So where do you
talking
give us? I mean, I don't want you to give away the whole thing that you do because
then
you want people to come on.
They could do it themselves.
Exactly. But give us a vague sort of overview.
So basically, like, start off at the Electric Ballroom because that's one of the main venues in Camden, and a lot of history has happened there.
Did Bon Scott die outside the Electric Ballroom?
No.
Was it the Dublin Castle?
No.
Where was it?
He had his last drink at the Camden Palace.
There you go. You see, conflicting information, and now I know the
And
truth.
I was told by someone that he had died outside the Spread Eagle.
So now it's the Spread Eagle.
But
right.
then I was told by somebody else that's not true. So,
Ah,
well, what we know is that he had his last drink at Camden Palace.
fair enough.
So.
I hate AC/DC anyway, so what the fuck? Excuse me. Excuse me. Anyway.
So yeah, Electric Ballroom, and then
Oh dear.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I don't want to give too much away, but
No, don't give too
Electric
much. Don't
Ballroom,
give too
and I
much
talk
away.
a bit about the Great Camden Fire,
Yeah.
which I was in Camden for the fire.
You were
So
there.
I have personal experience.
You had the
City.
matches in your hand, I believe.
I-
with this
People
whole
keep-
career in mind.
People keep accusing me of starting the Camden Fire with
If I
my
start a fire,
smelly
I can like
cigarettes.
do a walking tour and like make a walking, talking, rocking tour and make loads of money. Yeah.
Exactly.
Sorry,
yeah.
sorry about that approximation of your accent. That was terrible.
Thanks. Don't ask me to do an English accent because I
Oh,
can't.
go on, please do.
No.
Can you do one, Michelle? You are English. Why would you not be able to do an English accent? How stupid can I be?
God, blimey, Governor.
That's lovely. Thank you.
All right, Mary Poppins.
Chimney.
True. So this whole thing's is it evolving or is it kind of set in stone? I mean, is it?
It is kind of evolving, actually. Because when I did my first tour last week,
You got to keep it fresh for yourself.
yeah, I actually talked about stuff that I hadn't planned on,
There you go.
and actually have stuff that I want to add into it because
course you do.
Which isn't really one of the things I want to talk about. Isn't really part of rock and roll history, but it's like part of pop culture in Camden, which is that Spaced filmed an episode in the Barfly.
That's definitely pop culture.
Exactly. It's the episode where Tim and Daisy go to Camden and have their big night out in
Right.
Camden,
Okay,
and
yeah.
part of that was filmed
That's
in.
quite a long time ago now.
Yeah.
It was probably sort of just post Britpop, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, but like
Sorry, is the barfly? Is the monarch?
Yes, that's right.
it used to be the Monarch,
Yeah, it's now the barfly.
and now the
Been the Barfly
Barfly.
for some considerable time.
When I played the monarch
Yeah, of course
with
you did.
Pearl before she was a makeup
Oh,
artist
right, yeah.
for all the stars, and Belinda Carlisle came down to see us play there and got up on stage and sang a Cherry Bomb with us.
I've got a vague memory of that, you know.
Yeah, it was pretty hot, wasn't
Yeah.
it? It was pretty good.
I've got a lot of vague memories from the 90s, it must be said. So, yeah, as I was mentioning before, I think we weren't saying this on air. Me and a friend were talking about doing this about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
One of us was going to get dressed up as a teddy boy, and I was going to get dressed up as a sort of cartoon punk. And we were going to get a sedan chair and take people around. But it was more sitting around kind of burning lumps of resin and talking about it. But you've actually put it into practice.
Yeah,
So well done you.
I've had this idea for almost a decade now, actually, like from when I first moved to Camden. But at that time, I was just like new girl in town.
Yeah.
Didn't really know anybody, and I thought I would kind of piss people off.
But you've made your niche.
But I've been here now 11 and a half years.
You're part of the
and
furniture.
I am part of the furniture.
And nobody else has come up with it.
Exactly.
Yeah,
And like,
yeah.
and I've just had this idea, and I told a friend of mine last year, and he's been nagging me ever since, like, do it, do it, do it. And everybody I told this idea to about doing the Rock and Roll Camden walking tour has said it's a brilliant idea, and
think
you're
that's
the
it,
perfect
yeah.
person to do it.
There you
Because
go.
like I know I've got stories. If I haven't been a part of the story, like with the fire,
Yep.
I know someone
Right.
who was there. Like I'm friends with Andy Ross, who used to manage Blur.
Food
So
records.
I've got stories from Andy.
I need
just-
to get him on as a guest, come
Yeah.
to think of it.
Just a couple of weeks ago, he was telling me how the first time him and Graham went to the mixer,
Right.
and yeah, and he walked in there, and Suggs and someone else from Madness were sitting there, and he looked over at the bar, and he's like, "That guy looks like Morrissey," and it was Morrissey.
Morrissey did drink in there a
Yeah.
lot in the late 80s, I believe.
So I've like I said, if I haven't been a part of the story, I know someone who would
You
be.
need to talk to Wig, who I normally do the show with,
Yeah.
because he's got a story about going into the good mixer where he goes into the toilet. Morrissey's having a piss, but Morrissey goes into the cubicle. Wig goes in and he goes to speak to Morrissey, and Morrissey cuts him dead and just says, "In your dreams." So you can there you go.
Oh, the first time I went to the mixer was on my birthday, which is also Graham Coxon's birthday, and he was there, and Menswear were there,
Right.
and it was like one of the best birthdays I ever had.
I bet. Yeah.
Oh, Graham told me to shut up because I disagreed with something he said.
Sounds about right. Well, I hope it goes, it's a great idea, like we said, and I hope it goes really swimmingly.
I hope so too.
with
I
the-
already
the-
have ideas for expansion into other,
Great.
do Rock and Roll Soho, maybe go up to Manchester and do a tour.
Joe Meek.
Yeah,
Joe Meek.
Holloway.
Mm-hmm. But then there's not much to look at there. But Joe
Yeah.
Meek is a
That's true.
massive thing.
Where are you advertising this?
I'm listed in Time Out,
Yeah,
and I've got a website
Facebook and all that.
and Facebook and all that.
And it's Camden.
Rock and Roll
Roll.
Camden.
Sorry.
And the little N, rock
Little N.
it's not
Rock
and, rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Rock and Roll Camden walking tour.
I'll say again, I hope it goes swimmingly, because then I
Thank
was going to
you.
say, if it doesn't stop bloody raining, you'll have to probably
That's
swim
the
it.
thing. The rain has
Yeah.
not been my friend,
No.
and the football has not been my friend.
No, they're hard masters, yeah. Okay, well, the summer will perk up, I'm sure.
Hopefully.
And we've got another guest here, and you've heard her already, and she is Michelle from Brigandage, and she also does a thing called Sexy Hooligans Clothing. We're going to come to you in a minute, but first of all, have you chosen the song?
Yes, but which one is it, Tony?
I'll tell you what it is. It's This is Privilege by Patti Smith. Set Me Free.
I see it all before me, the days of love and torment, the nights of rock and roll. I see it all before me. Sometimes my spirit's empty, don't have the will to go on. I wish someone would send me energy. Give me something to give. Oh God, give me something, a reason to live. My body's aching, don't want sympathy. Come on, come and love me. Come on, set me free. Set me free. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me through the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Hey Lord, I'm waiting for you. Oh God, I'm waiting for you. Waiting to open your 98 wounds and bleed thee, be thee. Lead me, oh, lead me. Leave me something. Leave me something to live. Oh God, give me something, a reason to live. I don't want no handout, no, not sympathy. Come on, come and love me. Come on, set me free. Set me free. 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 Oh, so young, so goddamn young. Oh, so young, so goddamn young. Oh, so young, so goddamn. Set me free. In the presence of my enemies, thou anointest my head with oil. My cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Ah, damn, goddamn, goddamn, goddamn. Yeah!
Yeah. There we go. I'm talking over you. Sorry, Michelle. Brigandage there. From 1985? Four? Three. Sorry. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
And that was from an album called The Wit.
Yes, it
It
was.
was like a gothy, it was an anti-goth song, you were saying.
Well, the whole album was about darkness and goth and that. And lots of my friends are goths,
Yeah.
but I didn't. We were a punk band,
Of
and
course.
I didn't understand why we were on it. Well, I do because my manager was part of all that, so he put us on.
And you were singing through,
Nina Hagen's crutch on her tights.
yeah, which apparently is the only crotch that will do for the particular sound.
It is.
Yeah.
It's got that slight Germanic sound.
This is the crotch we need.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, a good choice there before that as well. Patti Smith,
Oh yeah, she's my absolute heroine.
godmother of punk, an all-round one-woman rimbow. Apparently. And you're a survivor, a punk survivor, much like yourself, I suppose. We could say that, could we not? An Amazonian punk rock queen.
I think so.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah.
Tony. Yeah, that's working for me now.
So, tell us all about Sexy Hooligans.
Well, Sexy Hooligans is my punk alternative clothing line that I do with my husband, Carl, who used to be in Yip Yip Coyote and the
Yip
Chefs.
Yip Coyote and
Yes,
the Chefs, sorry.
Yes, he's going to hate me for that. And we do our own designs, so I do some repros. And it started off, well, I used to have a stall in Camden Market in 83, 84, where the bands, we called The Art of Stealing then.
Right.
And then my friends had stalls and their stuff got stolen and mine didn't. So I couldn't even give it away then. So,
Okay.
And everyone used to hang around then. And then, I went and just kept doing the band. And then suddenly the internet started and I suddenly thought, oh, I might do one of my old shirts and put it up on eBay.
Yeah.
And then it just sort of grew from there. And then
And it's sort of Seditionaries inspired.
yeah, it's Malcolm McLaren, Vivian Westwood
Yeah.
inspiration. Though I'm moving off more into doing more sort of women's dresses, I hope more.
Oh, really?
Yeah, more all over print and textile print. But it will still be on the rock and roll side of things.
Okay, so I was having a quick look. The Oliver Twist shirt piqued my interest. Is that like? I thought it was an interesting item.
Yeah, well, it isn't mine, is it?
Oh, right. I was so sure that was yours.
No.
But I was looking at you forlornly over the mic there, thinking, I've got this wrong.
Yes, you have. That's severe.
Oh,
isn't
shit.
it?
And what about the Mickey and Minnie?
Oh.
No. I'm not the wanking ape. No.
No.
Tell me about one of your original designs that you really, really want to big up. Did Adam Ant wear one on TV the other day?
Oh, that's what everyone thinks. No.
But they didn't know.
They- Wrong. It's probably a sort of Only Anarchist, a pretty shirt that's been made up. We had his
Okay.
own lyrics on it. But I do striped shirts like that and I do
Yeah.
patches on them.
Sure.
I try to take that punk thing, that punk spirit and feel, and try and push it on to a new generation and try and move it a little bit
That's what
further.
needs to
But
be
people
done,
do
isn't it?
tend to like to go for the old nostalgia.
Well, it's a classic thing, and at the moment, it's very ripe for exploitation because it's everywhere at
Yeah.
present with Punk Britannia, the Jubilee, I suppose, for some reason. Although we're doing like the Diamond Jubilee or whatever it is, somehow it's been related to 1977.
Well, yeah, of
Yeah,
course.
of course.
So, yeah, I mean, my favourite one, I mean, the first proper one I did, apart from my Romance of Anarchy shirts, was the McClash one.
Right.
The I'm in love with the rock and roll world, with the one to write of my own, with the running police, and a photo I took of the
Cool.
Clash at the 100 Club Punk Festival. So at least I've got an original
And it's your-
photo.
it's your
mine.
photograph.
Yes,
Yes,
so
yeah.
it's got quite a nice bit of history on that. So I'm glad to use that.
Yeah. Excellent. So, but you were there back in
Yes,
the day
I was.
during the punk rock, the original insert. Could you perhaps have been part of the Bromley contingent, or were you from the perhaps
I was about a mile away from the Bromley
so
Market.
close and yet so
so
far? Just a
Really-
whiplash away.
I know, whiplash away. All the
Whiplash away, whiplash away, whiplash away.
all the Deadwood stages are coming right over the hill. Yeah, Westmoreland Hill. Woo! Bromley, rock
There's
and
a
roll.
musical in this. God damn it.
Exactly. There's some life in there somewhere. I think I
Flogging
see
a dead
Bromley.
horse.
Yeah, flogging a dead horse all the way to Bromley.
But you're in England's dreaming.
Yes, I am. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
It's nice to sometimes you think it never happened. Sometimes it seems like yesterday. Sometimes it seems like it never happened. So it's really hard looking at yourself at 16.
Michelle's photograph is in England's Dreaming. She's standing outside the 100 Club, right?
Yes, that's
punk
right.
rock, the original punk rock festival.
Yes.
With the Pistols, Subway Sect, the Clash, the Buzzcocks.
Stinky Toys and the
Stinky
Dance.
Toys. Who were they? Because they always.
They were
who
French.
The bloody hell were they?
They were
How did they
French.
get on the bill? Why have they been written out of history?
I've got that book on my bed, like waiting to read.
For English
Oh.
Dreaming.
Right now,
It's
yeah.
the best punk book.
Yes. And I do believe I might be on page 216.
That was 214 earlier.
Or was it 214? Oh, the memories, you get older.
No, my flatmate gave it to me. Like, you should
Oh, it's a
probably
great
read this
book.
for like your rock and roll
It is,
tour.
it's-
I was like,
Oh,
all right.
yeah.
Yeah, John Savage's book is probably the best, the most
John Savage.
accurate.
John Savage is a great like author of music books.
He's a
Like,
very intelligent guy and very perceptive and all that. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, it's not just a load of nonsense made
No.
up by someone who wasn't
No, and it's
there.
not. It's not just flogging a dead horse. He's actually got things to say, and
Yes.
it's culturally significant
Yeah.
and all that. So yeah, and you know, like back in that day, were you kind of castigated? Did people kind of look at you in the street and think, "Oh, that's
Oh,
terrible"? Yeah.
Yeah, they did. It was great.
But do you know that the Julian Temple comment, which is like back then when the Pistols were being interviewed or whatever, and like you see the backdrop and there's all these people in sort of elephantine collars and flares and
Yeah.
big
Yeah.
hair that goes over weird. And it's like at the time the Pistols were like considered to be like aliens, and Susie and yourself, people that were there.
Jordan.
But actually, if you look at the
Yeah,
pictures
they're
now,
fake children.
if you look at the images now, the people involved all look really sort of normal.
Yes.
And everybody in the background looks incredibly weird.
They look like they just come from an
really weird.
AC/DC festival.
Oh, they look like in Dazed,
look like they're
the
about
movie
to-
Dazed and Confused. It's just like long hair and listen to Leonard Skinner.
They look like they're about to expire outside a pub in Camden.
Yes. And it was
Anyway.
Bruno and I were walking down Oxford Street once, and he had a ciré shirt from Sex, and this old lady just looked at us and went, and just sort of like collapsed
Yeah.
onto the seat. It was, yeah, it was great. It was funny. It was awful, but we couldn't believe it. We didn't understand it because it was normal to us. You've got to
Yeah.
remember, we came from the Bowie Roxy
Yeah,
background, so it was just
stylistic. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, and there's also this Punk's Dead exhibition, Simon Barker, which he was part of that whole scene. So I'm going to big that up. It's in where is it?
It's
a place
around the
called
corner,
Divas, I think.
Yeah, Wilk Street.
Wilk Street. Yeah, there you go. So have a look at that. It's a book as well, apparently. So anyway, I'm going to bring Alison back in briefly here because I want you to introduce a song because you've picked another song.
Yes,
What is it?
it's The Rapture,
Yes.
and it's called All Right, Yeah,
Uh-huh.
or something
all
like
right.
that. There's a lot of ahas and all rights
Woo.
and yeah, woo.
I've got it written down in front of me. Woo, all right, yeah, uh-huh.
Yes.
That sounds
It's-
so great in
I
an
know.
American accent.
It's my favorite Rapture song because it kind of makes fun of hipsters because people don't dance no more.
People don't
Dance no more.
The
They
Rapture.
just stand and stare and
Do they?
yeah, cross their arms and drink and diss.
Oh, the sun-drenched French girls won't relate to a frozen glare from a northern state, dreaming
out your fingers to trace them, just look at them all. Look at the beautiful patterns that form on the wall. Stick out your fingers to trace them, just look at them all.
Rock and roll toilet there, especially for Michelle who wants to go.
No, I shouldn't have had that pint.
That's the Soft Boys, and I'd sort of cheekily put that in because there are quite a few what get called launchpad venues, but also get
Yes.
called toilet venues.
Right, which is
And that's kind of Camden, isn't it? And I'm, personally got a very vested interest in the Dublin Castle,
Yeah.
of course, which is a great venue.
which is a great venue, and it's actually my local.
Yeah.
and
And
my-
you're going to end the tour there? Is that right?
Yes, I do. I end the tour at the Dublin Castle because it's
Brilliant.
my favorite pub in Camden,
Quite right too.
and it's just I've always had a brilliant time there, and just went there on Christmas Eve, and it was so much fun.
Yeah, I'm never there on Christmas Eve because I'm always like down in the West Country where I'm from because you got to do the parental thing.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've got to do the,
But I've had some great gigs at the Dublin Castle. I saw Travis there during Camden Crawl a couple years ago.
That was really good, wasn't it? And I'm not a massive Travis fan. Well, obviously, that was our gig, and I have to say,
One
down
of
the,
the-
old spine
one of the best gigs
really
I've
was.
ever seen.
It really was incredible. Yeah.
And
I agree.
because they came out and they're like, Fran was like, it's almost 10 years to the day
It was emotional.
that we first played at the Dublin Castle.
That's right, and they
And
did-
like everybody there was Travis fans.
Absolutely.
And they were still even shocked. They were still shocked when people started singing along to Why Does It Always Rain on Me? And I got to talk to Dougie afterwards. And I said, I've never seen a band look so happy
They
on
did look
stage.
ecstatic. Yeah.
And he said, I said the same thing to Fran as we were walking off, going, that was like one of the best gigs we've ever done.
Yeah, it was a major one. Yeah.
And yeah, it was
Should have
just-
been filmed. Shame
yeah,
it
it
wasn't.
was brilliant. And when they did, like All I Want to Do Is Rock, and it was like touch the
They
ceiling, and
even
Fran
went back
even
to
went up
that.
and touched
yeah,
the ceiling.
which you wouldn't have thought they would.
I always think the first album was really good. It was a lot
Right.
rockier than the stuff that happened afterwards.
Well, back in whatever it was, we used to have that in the office, and we did used to listen to it. Now I can admit it.
yeah.
Right, so it says here freestyle chatter. That's what it says in my notes. So, blah, 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 blah. But actually, Michelle, you've picked another wonderful nugget from the era, the sort of punk era. And I'd forgotten about this one because I'd know Nobody's Scared, and I'd forgotten about the B-side because I've never actually owned the record. And it took me ages to track
Oh,
it
wow,
down.
totally
But I
well
actually
done.
managed to get it. And what is it?
Don't Split It by Subway Sect.
Don't Split It by Subway Sect.
Don't split it to learn. Don't split it, I need of it anymore. You see your life in black and white, it's all on time. I know how, but how's something you must learn. Don't split it, turn up before the answer. Don't split it, no need to know me yet. You start to finish, there's something controlling your life. I know when, but when is it not better for the rest? betray my life, is there something you got to prove? Split it, it is all that you need. Don't split it, I need to know right, it's for free. You're taking it out, you should know the price. I knew yesterday, but yesterday you were at school. If you don't know tomorrow, tomorrow's never gonna know you. You betray my life, is there something you got to prove? Something you got to prove. Don't wanna sing rock and roll. Don't wanna sing rock and roll. Don't wanna sing rock and roll. Don't wanna sing rock and sing rock and sing rock and sing. There's something you got to prove. Something you got to
Okay. There we go. Fading away. The brilliant B-side. Don't split it. The B-side of Nobody's Scared from 1978 Subway Sex. So, Michelle, you picked that, and I'm glad you did because I'd completely forgotten it. I don't think I'd actually heard it since 1978, to be fair. And what does that mean to you? Why did you? And you were very pleased that it was on.
I think it's because Subway Sex have been one of the most underrated bands. I mean, I know lots of people like them, but they're not bigged up like the big Pistols, the Clash. When
No.
I saw them, they just blew me away, and I just thought this lot are interesting.
And you saw them at the 100 Club
Yes.
in whenever that was, 1976.
Yeah, September the 20th.
Yeah. And they were good then, were
Oh,
they?
they were just brilliant, and then they were brilliant every time. And the Pill sessions are just
Yeah.
brilliant.
And what he does, and what he's done with the sort of the jazzier stuff.
Well, that was
and-
all right. I
yeah.
didn't mind. I mean, I liked him because I was, that
And then the-
loyalty thing.
The
you
Postman and Heroin Years, and
have. Well, I didn't know those. So I was probably too busy having the.
but he's out there now with Paul Cook playing drums. for
Yeah, I
him.
know. Yes, I was pretty having the speed years myself, so I can't remember what he was doing. But
Yeah.
Don't split it. Is the best line is I don't want to play rock and roll.
No, which he also sort of as a mantra at the end, isn't
Yeah,
it?
which is
and it
great.
sort of outlines what it sets out what he actually adheres to
Yes.
throughout his career in a way. Although I guess he's playing rock and roll now.
It's true, but it's what I thought, It's like you don't want to play rock and roll, but then you end up playing in a band.
But
and
you play rock and roll.
You're
yeah.
playing rock and roll
Yeah.
because it doesn't matter. You're like so seduced by rock and roll.
Well, we love rock and roll. That's
We
why
love
this is
rock and roll.
Bugbear's Rock and Roll High School,
Exactly.
for God's sake.
I know. So it was
It's
always...
rock and roll at the end. I mean, I used to go through, in my post-punk time, I used to go through that period of, you remember the word rockist? They used to bandy around. Oh, you can't be rockist. And that, but you couldn't have a song with the word rock in the title or anything like that. It was rockist,
Yeah.
This was the time of Echo and the Bunnymen, Joy Division, Cabaret Voltaire. Anyway, a long time ago. So that was Subway Sect, Don't Split It.
So it's goodbye from me, you lovely listeners, to Radio Bugbear. If you want to get some rather fine tatas to wear, go to www.sexyhooligans.com and wear them on your lovely Camden rock and roll walking tours. Bye.
There you go. There goes Michelle there from Sexy Hooligans. Excellent. She didn't get it wrong. I did. So there we go. Let's have two newbies. Let's have two newbies now. Bands that are going to be playing in the Dublin Castle, would you believe? Very soon. First off, Emily C. Smith and then Sonic Rising. Start now, you and me, Emily C. Smith. go. Saturday the 23rd of June. If you find yourself in Camden Town, both bands you just heard there, Emily C. Smith and Sonic Rise, and also a band called Hookah Monks, actually, will be playing in the Dublin Castle Saturday 23rd of June. I think We Got Killers a DJ in that night, but I'm not sure. And, produced by Mark Gardner, of Ride fame, the sort of drone psych thing there of Sonic Rising, which was called Solar Eyes. You and Me by Emily C. Smith. A wonderful song that, I thought, featuring Howell from Howlgriff and Toby from the Noisettes. PJ Harvey, White Stripes, Alaska sort of stuff generally, but that one more of a hillbilly sort of thing. Honky Tonk. Redolent of, thank you, Alison. Redolent of Necco Case, I thought a little bit. So, Shoreditch Tales of everyone's favourite art master here at the Bugbear Rock and Roll High School, Mr. Jim. He's got a rod and he doesn't spare it. My cousin Simon wrote that. He's got extra cramming lined up for the girls in the upper sixth.
Oh, stop it already.
He's got a very impressive pass rate with the young ladies here due to his large artistic resource. Fook me, he's here! Da da da! It's Mr. Jim!
Hello. I can't live up to all of that, mate. Not even half of it.
But that's good. What did you think of those new bands that we're putting on? Because, come on, let's face it, you are my partner in crime.
Yep.
And at the Dublin Castle on the 23rd of June. Any good, do you think? Or do you think they're rubbish?
Sonic Rising, I love, because it's shoegaze.
Shoegaze, new gaze.
Shoegaze, new gaze, whatever you want to call it. But Heart Spaceman 3. One of my favourite bands ever.
Very, very spaceman. And Mark Gardner produced it.
Nice slice of psychedelic indie.
Nice slice of psychedelic
And
indie.
I'm impressed that Mark Gardner produced it, actually.
Yeah.
That's good.
Tell you what, though, you could have got the levels up a bit. It was quite quiet.
The levels of psychedelia.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Is that what you need?
Exactly.
If you're in a psychedelic state.
There is a button on that mixing desk.
Oh, that's like a big acid.
It says don't touch.
Right, okay. Oh, I've learnt something, see? There you go, Mr. Jim knows. Right, are you going to have a rant about the state of music today, or was that something that we discussed could happen?
I do that every day, mate.
He does do it every day, listener.
I do. I'm exhausted.
Yeah, it is exhausting, isn't it?
I'm physically and emotionally exhausted with my rants about the music industry.
Yeah, I know. But can I just ask you, what do you think about drummers that don't own drum kits?
They're not drummers. I mean, when I get my windows washed...
He's off.
When I get my windows washed, when the window cleaner turns up, does he ask to borrow a fucking sponge?
He does not ask to borrow a
ladder.
Sponge.
Or a ladder.
He does not ask to borrow a ladder.
I would have to agree with him.
Alison's still here.
Yes, they couldn't kick me out.
It's outrageous, isn't it?
You're not a drummer if you don't own a drum kit.
Young members of bands, listen and listen well. Get some bloody equipment and sort yourselves out. Stop being so bloody... Oh,
I'll tell you what they want.
What is the word? I don't.
Tell you what they want to do. You can go. This is an online thing. You can Google this now. Look at the back of Pink Floyd. I'm a gummer.
I know that sleeve.
That's how a band should get about. not with a 1-octave keyboard and no drum kit.
It's really like I used to promote bands, and one time the headlining band didn't want to bring the drum kit, and we're like, "Well,
they get very precious.
That's your job." The headlining band always has to bring the back line. And they're like, no. We finally talked them around. But, like, I never had any problems with anybody else.
Well, look, we're going to end tonight. We've introduced Mr. Jim. Alison, great to have you here. And
Thank you.
And can you mention just one more time what it is you're doing with these Camden walking, talking, rocking, popping, strolling, rock and roll goddamn tours?
It's called the Rock and Roll Camden Walking Tour.
That's it.
There's a website on Blogspot, and there's a Facebook page, and we're in timeout, which is really good.
Should you be some sort of tourist who's had some sort of fit and ended up listening to this show by some weird process, probably involving illegal drugs, go on the tour.
And but it's not just for tourists, because like the first people on the tour lived in London.
Yeah.
But
we should go on it, Jim.
Yeah, you
refresh
should.
our energy.
We will.
Banks.
I've already told you a couple of things that you guys didn't know. I give you some.
What was that thing again?
About Marlon Brando.
And
drinking at the Elephant's Head.
Yeah, Marlon Brando drank at the Elephant's Head, which is the first pub I ever went in Camden.
The first pub I ever went to was the Good Mixer.
Okay.
So.
I've never really liked the Good Mixer much.
The first time
Anyway.
Anyway. we really love the Dublin Castle.
We love the Dublin Castle. So, that little moan about bands and that. We're going to finish tonight with an artist who has no other members at all. He goes under the slightly unwieldy name of Misa Watanabe versus Space Traveller. You can see where he's coming from. 29th of June in the Dublin Castle. You can see this fellow, and he's from this ex-Jesus Underground band, sort of crazy Slovak jazz, techno, he says, reading from his notes. Space jazz meets ska, breakbeat meets yellow, go dubstep, etc. Have a listen
Isn't that
to
a bit
this.
of everything?
Well, have a listen. See what you think. It's Misa Watanabe versus Space Traveller, and this track is called... It's such a long title, I don't know if I can actually be bothered to say what it is. And I can't see it anymore. So, goodbye!
Bye!
Further good news from the Don't Think channel.